In the land of Palworld, there is no peace, only eternal war between the different pocket monsters of the land. Join me on a quest of dominance in order to extract resources, capture animals, and build a factory unlike any other. All in our tireless pursuit of power to defeat the other trainers and become the true God Emperor of the land. The factory must grow. Hey, welcome to my video, Monsters of Palworld. Today we'll be going over the first 10 pals that you'll encounter on your journey and the first 10 entries of the PALdeck. So starting off with the first one, the Lamball. The PALdeck tells us, a walk up a hill tends to end with this pal tumbling back down. This causes it to be dizzy and unable to move, making it easy to capture and kill. As a result, this pal has tumbled down to the very bottom of the food chain itself. A little smiling ball of wool that you'll inevitably end up slaughtering or mass conscripting to work in your factory. They resemble little goats, grazing in the natural, untouched environments of Palworld, but their little horns show that they are anxious for some humans to come by and teach them how to be civilized. When hunted, they will drop wool and mutton. These little doomed bundles of joy will be found everywhere in the starting area, just waiting for you to convert them to prisoners with jobs. Lamballs will be the backbone of an early base, contributing their handicraft skills to building tools, moving things to where they should be, and farming, providing you with food in the early game. The Lamball's partner skill is the Fluffy Shield, where you pick up the Lamball and use it as a meat shield for incoming damage. When you are done with the body of this hapless animal, you can just discard it and find a fresh Lamball. Cattiva. At a glance, it appears full of confidence, but is in fact weak and cowardly. Being toyed with by a Cattiva is in many ways the greatest of disgraces. These little neutral type pocket cats will also be found in the starting areas, waddling around with cute little pink whiskers and pointy ears. Cattivas have 2 fangs and cute little blue eyes, making them look like little cat vampires. They will frequently try to run to safety when they see the player. Little did they know they would just die tired. Once you capture these innocent little felines out of their natural environment and force them to labor in your camp, they will prove themselves to be extremely useful with their mining skills, helping the player craft more PAL balls so you can imprison more of their kind. Invite more of his friends to come live with you. Cattivas love nothing more than to labor all day breaking rocks to help you in your mission of conquest. As a worker, the Cattiva likes to take a lot of breaks, which I can relate to. Sometimes when they get angry, they would just go to bed in the middle of the day. I can't blame him, I do love me a good nap. When deployed, these little cat helpers will help the player carry supplies and material, increasing your maximum carrying capacity. The Chickipi. Extremely weak and far too delicious. It is one of the weakest pals alongside Lamball. No matter how many are hunted, they just keep appearing. It's a chicken. It makes eggs. You fry the eggs, eat the eggs, but you can't fry the chicken. Unlike Legend of Zelda, you can beat the shit out of these dudes. Their endless supply makes them a great candidate to be offered as a sacrifice to the blood god. They really only have one skill, though it is useful. Once incorporated into your cult, they will produce eggs regularly to feed the other pals that you've added to your menagerie of wildlife, and feeding your war machine. Moving on, the Foxparks. Until now, all the pals we've discussed have been neutral type. The Foxparks will be the first elemental pal caught, contributing its skills at kindling to your new base. From the PALdeck, it is unskilled at controlling fire from the moment it is born and tends to choke on the flames it breathes unintentionally. Foxpark sneezes are one of the leading causes of forest fires. The Foxparks are cute little creatures that resemble red foxes. Its ears are tipped black and they have adorable red-brownish eyes and has a flame originating from its feet and tail. The Foxpark will be an important worker without pay in your base for its ability to automate cooking food and smelting ores, saving you a lot of time and the need to stand at the forge holding a button down. They will toil in the sweltering forges and kitchens of your new empire all day. In the field, they will be useful since if you pick them up, they will vomit out napalm-like flames worthy of use in trench warfare. The PALdeck tells us that they choke on the flames sometimes, so that means that the foxy parkies will be constantly suffocating during the workday. Sparkit. During the dry season, this POW is always on the verge of blowing a fuse. Sparks can fly with even the slightest provocation, even among allies. Finding Pikachu will be a little bit different from the other POWs on this list. He might be the first monster that you find imprisoned by the Syndicate, and the first electric-type monster in your repertoire. After dealing with the Syndicate thugs, you have a chance to free the Sparkit. As you open the cage, the Sparkit might have thought that it was going back to its home and family. Maybe it thought it would be free to roam this pristine and untouched land that you are bringing under your control. Little did it know that it was just changing into a bigger cage, becoming imprisoned in your factory base. The Sparkit will be a very useful addition to the squad, contributing its power to generate electricity and becoming a living generator. In combat, the Sparkit will increase the electric damage done by the trainer. The Rooby from the PALdeck. Wild Rooby surprisingly never gets sick, eating one piece of charcoal a day, made by burning a branch. It's the secret to eternal health. Just a note here, don't do that. Don't eat charcoal. It's not good for you. Kinda like lead, just don't eat it. Rubies are the best dressed POW we've covered so far, wearing a fancy pink bow tie. Their bodies resemble a horse with the tail of a fox. A small little flame will always be found on their forehead. Majestic and cute little flaming horses that oddly can be frequently found near water. But hey, who am I to tell a horse how to horse? I myself am not a horse. Like other fire types, Ruby will help with cooking and smelting in the base. If it's part of a team, it will increase the fire type damage of other POWs. When hunted, they drop leather and fire organs, so you'll be hunting down herds of these cute equine critters in order to harvest their leather for armor and to extract their organs in order to fabricate flame arrows. If history has taught us anything, is that conquest is best done while carrying some lead. Note, lead is being used less and less in firearms since it's kinda toxic. But anyway, the Tanzee and the Leafmonk will be the first instance of firearms that the trainer will encounter on their journey and will be extremely useful in your quests to pacify these wild lands. Using their grass and firearm skills, they will help you spread the light of civilization into these dark, unindustrialized lands, distributing freedom and opportunity out of the end of a hot gun barrel. They will serve as useful allies to extend your one true empire across the land. The PALdeck tells us about the Leafmonk. Intelligent as a 5 to 7 year old human child, it makes a wonderful partner, but there have been more than a few cases where they've killed their master after learning to use weapons. Okay, honestly, the implications of this PALdeck entry are kinda horrifying. There are some serious ethical implications to the capture of intelligent creatures and forcing them to work. I mean, it kinda makes sense that they would turn their weapons on their masters, so it stands to reason that the Leafmonks you capture have already killed their former masters and have escaped and are now finally free. Well, until you come along and enslave them again. The Leafmonk will be a great addition to any base, with its wide range of work skills, including lumbering and medicine production. In the field, the Leafmonk will be able to dish out a lot of damage using its Uzi. Pew pew pew! Tanzee. Long ago, this POW used long objects like tree branches as weapons. After coming in contact with humans, however, it found something much more effective: guns. The Tanzee appears like a small, happy, glazed eye green monkey with a big cannabis leaf on his forehead. If captured, it will be able to do a wide range of jobs in your base, making them a very useful addition. In combat, the Tanzee can use its Shiri rifle ability, where the Tanzee proceeds to have way too much fun shooting an assault rifle all over the place. I'm glad real monkeys don't have guns. Can you imagine going to the zoo if they did? Okay, now closing out today's list with the first two water-type POWs. First, the Pengullet. The feathers on this POW have all but disappeared. but sadly, its desire to fly has remained as strong as ever. Even now, it tries to fly again in any way that it can. The first water type pal you'll run into, the Pengullet, is an adorable little coastal penguin with short legs, a red tie, and a little tuft on its head. They look well dressed for any occasion. When added to your base, they'll help out by watering fields and freezing food. In combat, they can become a rocket that will fly towards your enemies and explode in an ice blast before falling unconscious. You'll want to hunt the Pengullet for its PAL fluid drop, which you'll need to build the hot tub. The hot tub helps your pals get a chance to relax in its soothing hot fluid. Though, when you think of it, since you had to hunt the Pengullet to get the PAL fluid component, so that kind of suggests that pals are swimming in the blood of the Pengullets. Fly away, little penguin. Fly. And lastly, closing out today's video, the Fuack. Using its own body water, this pal can create waves anywhere. It body surfs when in a hurry, but the resulting speed often ends up in a fatal collision. A pissed off looking duck wearing a pearl necklace, the is the second water type pal you'll encounter. These pals are always useful in a base for transporting things and watering fields. The will also be hunted for leather and pal fluids. In combat, they will use waves of water to yeet themselves kamikaze style towards your enemies. And with that, we close out today's entry of the monsters of Palworld. Thanks for watching. I hope you had as much fun as I did making this video. Let me know in the comments what you think, and don't forget to like the video and all that stuff. Be well, take care, later.